Hi friend, welcome to the live study channel. Today I am going to discuss MySQL interview question and answer. So let's start. My first question is, what is difference between now method and current date method? The generally now method and current date method both are built in a MySQL method. Now method is used to show the current date and time of the server, and current date method is used to show only the date of server. Got it? You can and syntax using the select now method and current date method, right? So let's see that, and I'll show you put the question. Next question is, which MySQL function used to concatenate string? Concatenate method function used to combine two or more string data. The use of this function is here with the example, like for the following select query with concat function will combine 5 words, means welcome to live study and com, then select concat welcome to live studies and com. Concat method function can be used on any table as well. Following select query will show the output by combining two field, brand and type of item table, means like one, like this. Okay, means select concat brand and type from item. Another question is, what is the purpose of using the heap table? Very most important question. The table which use a hashed index and store in the memory is called heap. Again I am repeating, the table which use a hash index and store in the memory is called heap table. It's work a temporary table and it is used to index that make it faster than another table type. When MySQL crash for any reason, then all the data stored in this table can be lost. It uses fixed length data type, hence blur and text data type are not supported by the table. It is useful table for the MySQL task when speed is the most important factor and temporary data is used in this memory. Okay. Another question is, what is meant by decimal? For example, 5 2. A decimal data type is used in MySQL is store the fractional data. The meaning of decimal 5 2 means that is total length of the functional value is 5. Then field can contain 3 digits before the decimal point, add 2 digits after the decimal point. If we use add any value larger than the defined length, then it will increase 99, okay, in the field. Another question is, how to drop the primary key in a MySQL? Very most important question. MySQL primary key is a single or combination of fields used to identify each record in a table uniquely. A primary key column cannot be null or empty. We can remove or delete a primary key from the table and using the alter table statement. The following syntax is used to drop the primary key. Okay, means alter table, this one, you can alter table name and drop the primary key. Another question is, what is a trigger? It's a very most important question. A trigger is a MySQL is a set of the SQL statement that reside in a system catalog. It is a special type of storage procedure that is invoked automatically in a response to an event. Each trigger is associated with a table which is activated on any DML. DML means definition manipulation language statement such as insert, delete, update. A trigger is called a special procedure because it can't be called directly like a store procedure. The main difference between trigger and procedure is that a trigger is called automatically when a data modification event is made against a table in concrete. A store procedure must be called explicitly. Generally, triggers are of two types according to the SQL statement: row level trigger and statement level trigger. Means row level trigger and statement level trigger. Okay, so first is a row level is trigger. It is a trigger which is activated for each row by a triggering statement such as insert, delete, update. For example, if a table has inserted, updated, deleted multiple row, the row trigger is filled automatically for each row affected by the insert, delete, update statement. And statement level trigger is a trigger which is fire once for each event that occurs on a table regardless of how many rows are inserted, updated, or deleted. Another question is, why we need use a trigger in a MySQL? We need a trigger in MySQL to the following feature. This trigger help us to enforce business rule. Trigger help us to validate data even before they are inserted or updated. Trigger help of us to keep a log of record like maintaining audit trail in a tables. SQL trigger provide a alternative way to check the integrity of data. Trigger provide an alternative way to run the scheduled task. Trigger increase the performance of a SQL query because it does not need to compile each time the query is executed. Trigger procedure, the client side code that save time and effort. Trigger help us to scale our application across different platforms. Trigger are easy to maintain. Limitation of using trigger in MySQL. The MySQL trigger does not allow us to all validation. They only provide extended validation. For example, we can use the not null, unique check and foreign key constraint for simple validation. Triggers are invoked and executed individually from the client application. Therefore, it is easy to troubleshoot what happened in the table database. The trigger may be increased overhead of the database server. Another question is how to create a trigger in a MySQL. Okay, we can use the create trigger statement for creating a new trigger in a MySQL. Below the syntax of creating a trigger, just create the create trigger name. Okay, after, before, insert, update and delete. Only 3 query you can execute. Insert, update and delete. On table name from each row or each statement. Begin variable declaration and trigger code. Then you can terminate means end. Another question is, what is difference between heap table and temporary table? Heap table exists in a memory, but a temporary table is valid only during the session. Heap table are shared among a various number of clients. Temporary table are not shared among the client. Temporary table need a special privilege to create a table. Heap table are a store engine which is not need a special privilege. Another question is, why do you think it is advised to not use GUID and character column as a clustered index array? Very most important question. GUID column affect the clustered index sorting performance as the nature of the random GUID value generated is larger than integer data types. Character column affect the sorting performance of the character data types larger size value, non-increasing values, and non-static values, which often tend to change. This value cannot be compared as binary value, as the character comparison mechanism depend on the use collection. See this? Okay. Another question is, how can you handle the secure file private in a MySQL? Secure file option limits the SQL server from loading the directory using the load data in file. If you used to see the directory that has been configured, then you may be use a show variable like secure file privilege. You may mainly two options to track: either move your file to the directory specified by the secure file privilege on your disable secure file privilege. You can't disable this later on, and you have to remove it from statement itself. Another question is, what is difference between B tree and hash indexes? A B tree index can be used to column comparison like equal to, greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to, between operators. B tree can be used to search the next entry in the order. Hash index can be used for equity comparison that use the equal, greater than equal to, less than equal to. Hash index can't be used to search for the next entity in the data in the order. Any leftmost prefix of the key can be used to find the row. Hash indexes only whole key are used to find a row. Another question is, what is the normalization, and list the different type of normalization? Okay, but there are the normalization is the process of organized data to avoid duplication and redundancy. There are maybe successive level of normalization. They are called normal form. Each consecutive normal form depend on the previous on. The first three normal form are usually equal. First means 1NF, 2NF, and 3NF. Okay, first means first normal form, second normal form, third normal form. No repeating group within a row. The first form. Every non-key supporting column value is depend on the whole primary key. Is the second form. Depend slowly on the primary key and no other non-key supporting in a column. Is the third normal form. Another question is, consider you have a composite index of 3 columns. Now you have to provide the value of 2 columns in the where clause of a select query. Do you think index can be used for the operation? Usually of index completely depend on if you consider the primary index or not. Consider you have a student table, suppose for example. Now suppose if your index is a present on student ID, student first name, and student last name, then you can consider a query. Okay, means first is select start from student detail where student ID is equal to 3 and student name is Ashu. Now if you consider that the above 2 column in the query are the second index column, then the index will not be invoked. Else if If the above two columns contain the first column while creating an index, either the primary index, then the index will definitely be involved. In the above scenario, I have considered the student ID and the student first name primary column and index will be in a case. Another question is, consider a scenario where you have three table with 1,000 tuples in each of them. Now if you have to perform a join operation between them, will you choose to perform filtering of row or transforming of row first? Generally, if you have three table with the 1,000 of tuples in each of them, then you are first supposed to filter then row in those table and then transform the table. This would be beneficiary, as if you had transformed the table, then the number of column may be increased, reducing the performance. Due to such performance issue, a lot of memory will be used and output will appear on your screen after a long wait for time. Okay, means there is no need for this. Okay, another question is, what is the main difference between and in condition operators? Between operator is used to display row based on range of value in a row, whereas the in condition operator is used to check the value contained in a specific set of value. Okay, just see that syntax. Okay, means select star from student where roll number between 10 and 20. Okay, so output is only show roll number between 10 to 50. Okay, but in a in semester in a in ist operator, select star from student where roll number in 8, 15 and 25, means only these are elements will be shown in this table. Okay, move to the another question. Another question is, what are the different type of collation sensitivity? It's not important, but just you can focus. It's just as an overview. Following the three different types sensitive means a case sensitive, Kena sensitive, width sensitive, and accent sensitive. Explain MySQL transaction properties: atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. Okay, mainly four. The property is mainly used to control all the operation and ensure all the transactions get complete successfully. Consistency: this ensure the database change according to the successfully committed transaction. Isolation means this is basically used to control the independent transaction. Durability means this is used to control a measure and effect and presence of committed transaction in case of system or database failed. What is difference? What is the storage engine and storage engine used for MySQL? Storage table are named as the table types. The data is stored in the file using multiple techniques such as indexing, locking, label, capabilities, and functions. Another question is, how to use the MySQL slow query log. Information that is provided on the slow query log could be hugged in a size. The query could also be listed over 1,000 times. In order to summarize the slow query log in as formatic manner, one can use the third-party tools PT query digested. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe this video. Okay, thank you so much.